this Tiara Brown, tremendous fighter, but tremendous talker as well. I was watching an interview with her earlier today, and she was going off on you saying Skye thinks she could dictate this, that it's all on her terms, and it's, she's sending me the contract on my fight week, and I'm not going to do what she wants. She's really going to bring the heat towards you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, of course. I feel like Tiara kind of has like convinced herself of this narrative in her head that I'm spoon-fed, that I'm spoiled, that I've not worked hard, or everything's just been kind of given to me on a silver platter. So I don't know. I feel like that's what she's convinced herself. I don't know if she just thinks I just sit around all day and I don't train hard. I think my fights kind of speak for themselves for the position I'm in now. But yeah, she's going to find out on March 22nd why I'm world champion and she's not.
I love it because she talks. I said to Ariel before we started the show, I can't imagine a face-off between these two because I can almost see someone going over a table and throwing hands. If you is self-proclaimed future undisputed. Did you want a world title shot? Did you want a unification shot? Or was this the one you wanted because she's been talking smack for a couple of fights now?
Yeah, I have wanted this fight. Obviously, the plan was to go undisputed this year, and it still is. So this is kind of a box to tick, but it's definitely belt collecting season after this one. But for me personally, I want this fight. I think Tiara thinks I don't want to fight her. I think that's where a lot of her confidence comes from, mainly because I haven't kind of bitten back at a lot of things that she's had to say. But yeah, so for me, I personally really wanted this fight, and I was happy to wait on the unification fights and collecting other belts to have this fight first.
Was there any sort of doubt that this fight would happen? I saw your post about Tiara can't find her pen, which kind of made me laugh, actually. Kind of went a bit viral as well. Was there any sort of doubt, like, okay, this might not happen? Was there any hesitation at all from Tiara?
I don't believe so. Definitely not from Tiara. Her team, I was told her team went quiet. They had the contract for a number of weeks, but obviously she did have that fight. I didn't know she had that fight. But yeah, all I was told was that they were waiting on having the signed contract back. So that's why I tweeted what I did. But yeah, I'm happy she found her pens. And yeah, it's on. I can't wait.
What do you think she means when she's saying you're spoon-fed and everything's been handed to you and you haven't had to work hard? Like, what is she getting at when she says this about you, in your opinion?
I think some people just like choose how they want to see the world, and I think she sees it in a negative way. I was signed to a promotional company from my debut. I've had opportunities. I've fought on big cards, but I've also been boxing for 20 years. I've also dedicated my whole life to this sport. I've put myself out there. I go and do every media thing I can possibly do. I'm constantly trying to grow as an athlete, as a person, and I feel like I have earned absolutely everything that I have done, everything I've achieved, all the opportunities that I've had, and I feel like in her mind she feels that I haven't. I think she thinks I'm spoiled, or I don't know, because maybe things have taken longer for her. But yeah, like I said, she's going to find out on March 22nd exactly why I am world champion, and she's going to have a lot of words to eat because she's definitely had a lot of words to say.
To a degree, do you think this has anything to do with what Ade was talking about at the beginning, where it seems like for some reason people are still a little bit reluctant to give you the respect that you deserve for, I don't know, a litany of reasons. And they think that maybe that, again, Matchroom has guided you and you've been given this off the jump and all that stuff. And so they don't want to acknowledge that you were one of the best female fighters of 2024. And she doesn't want to acknowledge that you've pretty much skunked every opponent that you face, shut out in every single fight. Do you think it has those two things are connected, where people, for whatever reason, and maybe you know the reason, and I'd love to hear it if you think you know the reason, still don't want to quite talk about you among the elite in women's boxing?
I think because the constant thing that comes out is that I haven't been tested. And it's almost like people make that out like it's a fault of mine that I haven't been tested or that I've been protected. But my style and the way I fight stops people from doing what they do. And I feel like more critics and doubters have become believers now, especially after the Raven Chapman fight. A lot of people went into that fight saying like, this is a 50-50 fight. This is a real test for Skye. And I know that the same is going to happen again in this fight. She's 18-0. She's a dangerous fighter. She's got a high KO ratio. She was an amateur world champion. She's a good fighter. So does that mean maybe I'm going to get the recognition after this fight when I do the exact same thing to her that I've done to everyone else?
How does it feel? Sorry, go on, Skye, go on.
It's just like frustrating a little bit because I just feel like I'm going to make Tiara look silly and then I'm going to get the same responses again, that she was cherry picked, that she wasn't the best Tiara Brown on the night, or she hasn't had the big lights in the occasion. And just like there's always excuses instead of just saying, actually, Skye made her look bad on the night because Skye's a better boxer.
Yeah. Again, it goes to what I said at the top of the show. I think you should have been in that 5 nominations for Fighter of the Year. So hopefully once you start getting these type of results, people can start sort of seeing what I see, because I can clearly see the talents there. How does it feel, though, going from the hunter to the hunted? I remember in your first year, you was obviously calling out Amanda Serrano. Unfortunately, that fight looks like it's now far and far away. But now people are calling you out. On Saturday in Nottingham, Ellie Scottney ringside called you out, which came from nowhere, but she called you out. Obviously, Tiara Brown's called you out. People are starting to say, I want that Skye Nicolson fight. Does that feel strange, knowing that you're now being hunted?
No, I love it. I feel like it means I'm doing something right. I feel like it means I'm the name that people are chasing to be recognized. It means they want to use my name in interviews and clickbait. And that will boost my profile and boost my worth as well. So keep calling me out. And like I said online when I was called out again on the weekend, line them up. I will fight anyone. I love the Ellie Scottney fight. I've been living and training in London for the last 3 years. I haven't fought in London yet. That's a big London fight. So obviously not looking past Tiara Brown, and we obviously want to go undisputed this year, but Ellie Scottney's a great fight. I love that fight.
How upsetting is it to hear what I just said there about the Amanda Serrano fight probably never happening, right? One of the biggest names in boxing, your weight class, a super fight, right? I mean, that fight does big numbers anywhere and everywhere, depending upon where it's on. How upsetting to know that probably won't happen.
It's frustrating because I feel like I have been very vocal about wanting that fight for a long time. And I can't just keep focusing on Amanda Serrano, but obviously my focus is on the belts and it's on becoming undisputed champion at featherweight and proving that I'm the best featherweight. And I'd much rather be fighting the champion than for a vacant belt. But she hasn't defended the belts for well over a year now. So I think the likely outcome is going to be that I'll probably have to fight for vacant belts to become undisputed, which was not the way I wanted it to be. But at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control. And for whatever reason, Serrano doesn't want to give me that opportunity. Whether she believes she beats me or not, she doesn't want to give me the opportunity to even fight for it. So probably a business decision from her side. And I know that she is coming to the end of her career, and I understand. But I have also been calling for the fight for well over a year. I'm going to say closer to 2 years. So I feel like the fight definitely could have happened, and she has fought lower level opponents than me in that time. So that for me has been quite frustrating. But at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control, and just focus on getting the belts and winning.
By the way, Skye, do you agree with that sentiment? Like, have you completely erased the possibility of the fight happening from your mind? Because I understand, like, I'd love to see that fight, but I also understand if she gets another fight against Katie Taylor, and if it's on a platform once again on Netflix, like it's hard to deny anyone, turning that down. Like you have to take that opportunity. And the second fight was tremendous, and the first was. But once once that's done and you keep rising and you remain undefeated, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a hopeless optimist. I could see it happening. I could see it happening
Yeah.
end of 25 or early 26.
Honestly, I haven't lost all hope in that fight ever happening, but I can't let it be my sole focus. It's definitely not happening in the near future. So for me, I just have to focus on obviously Tiara Brown on March 22nd, and then look at collecting the belts and going undisputed. So that's my focus now, not Amanda Serrano. I know she's holding the belt, but I don't think she's going to defend the belt. So the fight with Serrano is just not there right now. But obviously, I would jump at any opportunity to fight Serrano, especially for the featherweight belts.